Why don't I believe you?
Today in Judge Karen's court.
I'm a party princess. I do birthday parties for children.
Well, if Christine's going to continue to do birthday parties, she should tell people that she's coming to the party dressed as a witch.
Did this party princess ruin the party?
I was under the understanding that she was going to stay and help at the party, that she wasn't going to leave in the middle of a party.
He blocked me from his door and he said, no, if you expect to be paid, you're staying here longer.
Or did this single dad get overwhelmed and go over the edge?
He was freaking out. He obviously didn't know what he was doing. He blocked me from his door, but I couldn't believe how irate he was. He snatched the bag from me. I was so shocked and felt so violated and upset. Strap broke, everything fell out, hit the nightstand.
Who's about to find out that Judge Karen's court is no party?
The moment she left, my daughter started crying and the entire party was ruined.
Sounds like you were the one having a 2-year-old temper tantrum upstairs.
Real judge. Real drama. Real justice. And now, you're about to enter Judge Karen's court. Plaintiff Tanya Dempsey is suing her former friend for costs associated with a birthday party that ended in disaster. Tanya says she agreed to appear as her princess character at the defendant's daughter's birthday party. But Tanya says when she began to leave, the defendant physically assaulted her, smashing her computer and sunglasses in the process. Defendant Richard Margaritov argues Tanya tried to leave his daughter's birthday party long before her duties were over, so he had every right to stop her. But Richard denies manhandling her in any way and says her items broke when her bag fell to the ground as she tried to get past him.
All right, Miss Dempsey, you're suing Mr. Margaritov for a broken laptop, broken sunglasses, emotional distress, and unpaid wages?
Correct.
And Mr. Margaritov, your position is that you don't owe this lady anything?
Absolutely right.
Okay. How do you know this man, ma'am?
He's sort of my friend. I'm really close with his sister, and I've known him for about 5 years, and I've known his sister for longer.
Well, I read your pleadings, both of you, and apparently you hired the plaintiff here for a birthday party?
For my daughter's birthday party, yes.
How old is your daughter, or was she at the time of this incident?
She's turning 2.
2 years old. And what was it that the plaintiff was supposed to do at the birthday party?
She was hired to do balloons with the kids and cut the cake with the kids and play with the kids and play with all the kids during the party.
What, is that what you do for a living,
Your
though,
Honor,
ma'am? What do you do for a living, though?
I'm a party princess. I do birthday parties for children. I dress up as different characters.
Okay.
I don't necessarily plan the party. I show up and I'm the entertainment.
Well, is it your understanding that she somehow was planning your party?
No, she was coming to play with the kids, and she was hired to come and be a part of the party and to really run the party for us.
Not to run the party, Your Honor.
What was your understanding of what you're supposed to do with him?
I was supposed to entertain the children for a specific amount of time from 11 to 2. I was dressing up as a princess because that's what his daughter was into.
Okay.
And I was to do story time with the kids. And I have all of these wonderful games with them. We play Duck, Duck, Prince, and I tell them a story that I make up about me and the prince.
Okay.
And
is that the princess tiara you wear?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have different ones, but yeah, this is one of them.
Okay.
It's sort of a way for me to entertain the children, to make it a great experience for them, but to also give the adults that 2 hours, 3 hours to where they can enjoy the party. But I'm by no means a party planner. I go to entertain. I'm the entertainment.
Do you play other characters other than a princess?
Absolutely, depending on what the child wants. I've played a robot before. I usually play princesses, Belle or Snow White.
So the agreement was that what time was she supposed to show up for the party?
She was supposed to show up at 11 a.m. for the party.
Okay, and how many hours was she supposed to work for you?
The party was going to last 3 hours, so she was hired to do the party for 3 hours, although she left early in the middle of the party.
Okay, well, you say she showed up at 11.
She showed up at
12,
11.
1, 2. So she was supposed to be there from 11 to 2 o'clock.
The party started a little late, unfortunately.
No, but what time did you contract her to be there for a party?
At 11 a.m.
Okay, so was she there at the party at 11 a.m.?
She was, but the party didn't begin until 1 o'clock.
Was it her fault that the party didn't begin until 1 o'clock?
No, but it wasn't my fault either. My daughter was dropped off a little late at the house by my parents.
Right. You're telling me you were supposed to be there at 11 o'clock?
And I showed up at 10:45. I always show up early. When I got there, you know, I sort of felt bad for him at first because his house was a disaster. The backyard was muddy, and he was freaking out. He obviously didn't know what he was doing.
Have you ever thrown a party for a child?
No, I haven't, and that's why I was looking forward to having Christine at the party to help at the party.
Your Honor, I went above and beyond.
Do you have a contract that you have
sure
people
do.
sign?
I faxed it to him.
Okay, so did you provide it to the clerk
I
here?
did. I submitted it.
Oh, yes, it's Plaintiff's Exhibit 2. It says the following materials and activities will be performed for up to 15 children at a party from 11 a.m. till 2. Do you remember signing this agreement May 27th?
I signed the agreement, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, I don't see in this agreement where it says I'm going to help you with a party. Was there more that you thought she should do other than what was in the contract?
Your Honor, it doesn't matter. She was a friend of my sister's. I thought she would go above and beyond and help the party. I'd known her for a few years. I never thought that
certainly did go above and beyond.
How did you go above and beyond?
Well, first of all, when I got there, nothing was ready. So I quickly helped him bring all of the party decorations into the home. We set up balloons on the wall. We set up the cupcakes and everything on the table. I felt bad for him. He's a single dad. He didn't know what he was doing. So I have children of my own, so I thought I'm going to jump in and I'm going to help this guy out as much as I can. But I told him from the beginning, when I faxed him the contract, that I was hired out for 3 hours, and that I also had another party later on in that day, which I've never had a problem with. Several times I've booked 2 parties at once, and he didn't want me to leave when it was time to go.
So what happened when you decided you were leaving?
At about 1:15, when we finally started everything, I reminded him I need to leave by 2, so let's make sure all the kids are ready. And
did she tell you she needed to leave by 2?
She told me in the middle of the party, she earlier just said that she told me beforehand that she double booked and had another party. That's not the truth. She didn't tell me until
what
close
time,
to 2 o'clock
what
that she
time
was
was the
leaving.
other party?
4 o'clock.
What does that have to do with your party? That she had another party at 4 o'clock?
I was under the understanding that she was going to stay and help at the party, that she wasn't going to leave in the middle of a party to go to another party.
And it would have been an
Let me
all
ask,
day.
She left the party, my daughter was
I want to
crying.
get into your head. How long did you think that she would stay there?
At least until the cake was cut and she was able to stay and cut the princess cake with my daughter.
What time did that happen?
Well, it was supposed to happen close to, at about 1:45, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but what time did it happen?
After she left the party, and it didn't really happen. My daughter started crying immediately when Christine left the party, and the entire party fell apart.
When Judge Karen's court continues.
Where was your bag?
He blocked me from his door, but I couldn't believe how irate he was. He snatched the bag from me. I reached over to get my bag so I could change.
What was in the bag?
This computer.
The computer
my
there.
Chanel sunglasses, my wallet and things, and the rest of my clothes.
Okay.
And when I grabbed the bag, he snatched it from me. The strap broke. Everything fell out, hit the nightstand. And I was so shocked and felt so violated and upset.
Well, if Christine's going to continue to do birthday parties, she should tell people that she's coming to the party dressed as a witch.
You're back in Judge Karen's court. As plaintiff Tanya Dempsey claims former friend Richard Margaritov assaulted her as she performed at his daughter's birthday party as a princess.
At 1:45, when you were planning on having the cake cutting, she was still there, right? That's what you just told me.
Well,
right?
she was getting ready to leave.
He told me to please stay a little longer, please
Right.
wait it out. The children just started to play with you, please wait it out. And I even stayed a little later until about 2:15, and I said, the latest
At
I could...
1:45, did he say, come on, let's cut the cake?
No, he never did. He just told me, please, let's wait it out. The children need more story time. It barely started. The party started late. And I was trying to be professional. I love children. I didn't want them to hear him upset. I was just trying to concentrate on the children. And I could tell the later it got, and I kept kind of reminding him, the more irate he was getting with me. And I thought, this is going to be a problem.
Were you getting irate with her?
No, I was not getting irate with her. It was a big surprise that she was leaving in the middle of the party.
Right.
She should have stayed. My daughter wanted her there. The moment she left, my daughter started crying, and the entire party was ruined.
Okay, so then what happened when she was ready to leave at 2:15?
She was demanding that I pay her for the party that she hadn't finished.
I was trying to get my things, Your Honor, and the promise was that he was going to pay me cash
Right.
at the end of the party. And when I told him I had to leave, he said, you're not leaving. We haven't even cut the cake yet. And I said, I told you I have to leave. I've already stayed later and come early. That's it. I have to go. And when I went up to get my bag...
Where was your bag?
In his bedroom.
Why was your bag in his bedroom in the first
Because I was
place?
trying to keep it away from the children. I had a computer and expensive stuff
So
in
when
there.
you first came in, that's
I
where your
dropped it
bag
off,
ended up.
yes,
Is that
yeah.
right? Did she leave her bag in the bedroom?
Yes, she did.
Okay, so you went to get your bag, and what happened?
He blocked me from his door and he said, no, if you expect to be paid, you're staying here longer. And he started to get, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I've known him for a few years, but I couldn't believe how irate he was. I feel like he was taking out all of his aggression.
So what happened at the door?
He snatched the bag from me. I reached over to get my bag so I could change.
What was in the bag?
This computer.
The computer there.
My Chanel sunglasses, my wallet and things, and the rest of my clothes.
Okay.
And when I grabbed the bag, he snatched it from me. The strap broke. Everything fell out, hit the nightstand, and I was just stunned. I've never had something like this happen before. I mean,
I didn't snatch the
Okay,
bag.
tell me what did you do?
I picked up the bag off the bed and she snatched it away from me.
What? Why did you pick up the bag off the bed?
He's lying.
Because I was trying to get her not to leave.
So you were holding her bag for ransom?
No, I was just trying to get her to stay at the party, at least so she can cut the cake with my daughter.
Okay, but it was her bag, right?
Yes, it was.
She had a right to take her bag from you.
But
You
she
agree?
didn't have a right to leave in the middle of the party.
But did she have a right to take her bag? What belonged to her? Did she have a right to take that?
Yes, she has a right to take her bag.
Okay. So even if I believe your story, you had a bag that she had a right to, right?
Yeah.
So when the bag dropped, you're telling me that computer was in there.
That computer, these glasses, with other personal items, and I was so shocked and felt so violated and upset that I didn't want, first of all, I didn't want the children to hear all this drama going on.
Right. How many children were there?
There were 15 kids there.
Were you the only other adult there?
My parents were there too.
They weren't doing it. They weren't helping. He expected me to run the entire party by myself.
And these were 2-year-olds?
Some were 2, some were a little older.
But it sounds like you were the one having a 2-year-old temper tantrum upstairs.
I just wanted to make the day as special as possible for my daughter. So someday she can look at photos and remember that experience, remember that it was the best birthday ever.
Well, let me just tell you this. I have a lot of parties. I've done all kind of theme parties, salsa parties, masquerade parties. I've done children's parties. I had a clown once come for a child's party, but I never expected that person to come in and take over my party planning. Even had a belly dancer once. You think I expected the belly dancer to help me to sit out drinks?
Exactly.
Okay, so why is it that you think that you hire somebody that plays characters, robots, princesses, that's gonna come in and set out food and everything else for your party?
I just wanted my daughter to have the best
It
party
sounds
possible.
to me like you were overwhelmed by the situation and you just didn't want this lady to leave you alone with those 15 kids.
That's exactly it, Your Honor.
Is that what was going on?
No, Your Honor, it was not what was going on.
You felt totally in control of the situation. Go on, I can handle this, not a big deal.
The most important thing to me was that my daughter had a most special birthday ever.
But it sounds to me like you kind of got overwhelmed by the whole thing.
Coming up on Judge Karen's Court.
So I pulled over, I was crying. I couldn't believe this happened to me. I've never felt so violated before. I've never been around aggressive men in my life that physically would try to hold me back, which was pretty scary.
This is her livelihood, making money. And you say, how dare you book another party? Because there's another $500 waiting for me at another party. That's why I booked another party.
Judge Karen's Court is back in session as Tanya Dempsey sues former friend Richard Margaritov for an alleged assault that occurred when she attempted to stop being a princess at his daughter's birthday party.
Let me see this computer.
Do you want me to bring it up?
Can we
Your Honor?
turn it on? Is it
It's
plugged in there?
It won't turn on. And I didn't even notice, Your Honor. I was so upset that I drove a couple blocks. I pulled over. I was crying. I couldn't believe this happened to me. And I felt so bad because I've never had this situation. I took out my computer, and I noticed my glasses were broken, first of all, and it wouldn't work.
Let me see the computer. Can you take it off the charger? Let me see the computer and the glasses. Did you get an estimate on this, fixing this computer?
I just have the receipt for what I paid for it.
Okay. And these glasses, are these real
Yes.
Chanel's or are
Yes,
they
they are.
knockoffs? Well, how do we know?
They are, Your Honor, yes.
I guess, does anybody know? Do you know a real pair of Chanel glasses? I don't know a real pair of Chanel glasses.
Me
Do
either.
you have a receipt?
I can get a receipt, yes.
Well, you supposed to
I
bring
pay
that.
everything with my credit card, Your Honor, so.
Okay, but did you bring your credit card receipt?
Yes, I did. I just don't have it with me.
I guess they're broken. It
Obviously
seems like
the-
you could fix these little glasses. Here, you just press this thing right here. These glasses are back in shape. There you go. That. Still, you're in style. Thank you. Let me see what you got for the computer. What did you pay for
Bring
it?
it up. Over $1,900. Your Honor, about the glasses, I'm sorry, I think the lens is cracked, so.
Yeah, I'm not giving you any money on those glasses. I'm not sold that those are real Chanels. And if they are, you paid too much for those. You should have got the knockoffs for those little cheap looking glasses. This little flimsy lenses here? No. Let me see. 2009. You paid $1,931.13 for this computer. Okay, what do you have to say? Anything else?
She ruined my daughter's birthday party, Your Honor.
She ruined your daughter.
She claims to be.
Let me ask this question. You think your daughter remembers that birthday party? You have to seize the moment when you're with a child as young as your child is. You know, they forget about it. You know how you bring them a brand new toy and they play with it, and then an hour or two later, they forget all about that toy. It didn't ruin her party. She had a great time in the moment that she was enjoying the party.
Well, if Christine's going to continue to do birthday parties, she should tell people that she's coming to the party dressed as a witch, not as a princess.
Well,
'Cause that's what she was.
Let me show you. This contract says, and you can say she's your sister's best friend and all that if you want to. Y'all had a contract.
When we return, Judge Karen will render her verdict. During the commercial break, the courtroom gallery voted for whom they thought would win this dispute. And now, here's how they called the case.
This contract said that from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, she was going to do 4 things for you. You didn't get started until 1 o'clock. That wasn't her problem. She's there to make money. This is her livelihood, making money. And you say, how dare you book another party? Because there's another $500 waiting for me at another party. That's why I booked another party. So I'm ready to rule. But before I do, I need to address the emotional distress allegation in your complaint. What's the emotional distress?
Well, I've never felt so violated before. I've never been around aggressive men in my life that physically would try to hold me back, which was pretty scary and
Did
shocking.
you go see a doctor?
No.
Psychiatrist?
No.
Lose any time off from work?
No, but when I had to pull over and I was crying and I was upset and I barely made it to the next party, I felt like I wasn't able to give the next round of children my usual bright, cheery self.
How old was that child?
4.
Okay, he won't remember that today either. Just reviewing, it was the broken laptop, it was the designer shades, $300, it was the emotional distress and unpaid $500 that he owes you. Those were the 4 causes of action that you sued for.
Yes.
All right, I am ready to rule. As to the broken laptop, I believe the fair market value of the laptop is $1,200. I believe that's fair. I'm awarding you 0 for the broken designer shades. I'm awarding you 0 for emotional distress because you didn't show that you had any damages, out-of-pocket damages for your emotional distress. And I'm awarding you $500 for the money that the defendant didn't pay you, okay? Judgment for the plaintiff.
More to come in Judge Karen's court.
I feel the ruling was absolutely right.
I feel that the judge's ruling was completely wrong.
I won the wages that were not paid to me.
She didn't fulfill her part of the contract.
I'm happy I at least got paid, and I'm going to get a new computer.
I didn't snatch the bag out of her arms. She grabbed it from me.
And I've never encountered somebody as irate and angry with anger management problems as Brian, and I hope that I never do again.
It's a complete lie. I don't have anger issues.
I'm a little upset that she said my designer Chanel sunglasses were fake, because they were not.
Still, you're in style. Why don't I believe you?